What if a modest adjustment to how you consume your morning beverage could help you manage your blood sugar without medications? Before your next sip, there's a critical detail you should understand that could reshape your well-being. I'm not discussing any revolutionary breakthrough. I'm not marketing anything. I'm referring to coffee, the drink already sitting in your kitchen. And one element that alters everything, the approach and the moment you consume that cup. Throughout my career, I've monitored hundreds of individuals managing glucose control challenges and type 2 diabetes, particularly those past 60. What I'll explain today has genuinely transformed health outcomes for numerous patients. Brazil faces an underreported health emergency. Per official health ministry statistics, diabetes cases have climbed 135% within only 18 years across our nation. Currently, nearly 20 million Brazilians battle this condition. Healthcare monitoring information reveals prevalence hits nearly 30% within our senior population beyond 65, literally one individual among three. That exceeds general awareness. What concerns me most professionally isn't simply diagnosed individuals, but the substantial group hovering at the threshold: elevated blood glucose, puzzling post-meal exhaustion, unending thirst, remaining either undiagnosed or uncertain beyond medication dependence. Remain through the conclusion, because I'm demonstrating how a zero-cost modification can substantially influence glucose regulation. However, initially, I must clarify something the general public overlooks regarding coffee. Everything we're discussing today, how your daily habits affect glucose control and long-term health, this is what my patients bring up constantly. I consolidated the health strategies I offer my own patients and developed one accessible approach for sustaining energy and independence past 60. It addresses 28 critical health factors that shift with aging: cardiovascular function, metabolic processes, mental acuity, physical stability, and considerably beyond. Thousands have already benefited, and many have reclaimed their health independence well into and beyond their 60s. You'll find the link in the video description and the pinned comment, so grab it when you're prepared. Picture your pancreas functioning like a manufacturing facility generating insulin, the substance permitting glucose entry into your cells for energy creation. Following consumption, glucose enters circulation. This facility activates, creates insulin, and glucose gets absorbed. Normal operation. Complications emerge when this factory encounters overload. Consuming numerous rapid-acting glucose-raising foods forces the pancreas maximum effort. Gradually, your cellular receptors weaken to insulin signaling. The pancreas compensates by generating increasing quantities to accomplish identical outcomes. That's when insulin resistance develops, the threshold condition preceding type 2 diabetes. How does coffee factor into this situation? Coffee represents a fascinating biochemical substance. It contains countless biologically active molecules, though two demonstrate particular scientific relevance. Chlorogenic acid and trigonelline operate as regulatory agents within your digestive tract. Consuming coffee before meals allows these substances to decrease sugar absorption pace and consistency. Rather than glucose flooding circulation instantaneously, you experience gradual, manageable circulation that the pancreas manages effortlessly. Diabetes care research, conducted through Harvard's Public Health Division, examined over 1 million individuals and determined something remarkable. Regular coffee drinking associates with significant type 2 diabetes risk decrease. That's not marginal. Risk proportionally decreases. Additional cups daily correspond to progressively lower disease likelihood. Subsequently, 2018 investigations from Sweden's Karolinska Institute, a globally recognized medical authority, examined 30 separate investigations encompassing nearly 1.22 million subjects. They confirmed that coffee consumption, whether fully caffeinated or decaffeinated, connects with roughly 30% reduced type 2 diabetes risk. However, here's what remains largely ignored. These advantages depend entirely on consumption technique, since incorrect coffee at wrong moments through wrong methods can prove counterproductive. That's what I encounter consistently in my practice. Allow me describing Mr. Arnaldo, 72, retired, routine-oriented, coffee drinking since adolescence. Regrettably, attending my clinic revealed his morning fasting glucose measured 138 and his HbA1c, indicating 3-month average blood sugar, registered 7.1%, elevated beyond optimal. He explained, "I approach everything correctly: daily coffee consumption, thrice weekly walks." When I questioned his coffee habits thoroughly, the issue became apparent. Each morning, immediately upon waking, consuming a substantial strong black coffee before any food, another at 3 p.m. with sweetened cookies, sometimes a third before sleeping, believing it encouraged relaxation. 3 classic mistakes I'll detail currently. Mistake 1 involves morning coffee consumed on empty stomach immediately following awakening. Most frequent and most destructive error. Following overnight fasting, cortisol, your stress hormone, already runs high, the identical substance your body generates during emergencies. Cortisol naturally signals your liver discharging glucose for morning energy. Standard survival procedure. Caffeine intensifies this. It further stimulates stress gland function, triggering adrenaline discharge, prompting increased liver glucose release. You've consumed absolutely nothing yet. The outcome? Pre-breakfast, your glucose already increased by 20 to 40 measurements. Patient monitoring studies demonstrate this. Nutrition research published in Britain confirmed that morning black coffee on empty stomach dramatically increases blood glucose. Mistake 2 involves coffee featuring sugar, artificial substitutes, or cream. Apparently innocent, yet harmful. 1 sugar spoonful triggers glucose spike, canceling chlorogenic acid advantages, simultaneously creating and fueling a fire. Artificial sweetener research suggests aspartame and sucralose harm intestinal bacteria balance, the microorganisms essential for glucose processing, potentially compromising long-term regulation. January 2025 research from Harvard examining American populations demonstrated plain coffee correlated with 10% diabetes risk reduction per cup. Sweetened coffee? This protection substantially weakened. Translation to actionable guidance is straightforward. Eliminate sugar from your coffee. Simple yet effective. Mistake 3 means afternoon or evening consumption. Caffeine persists 5 to 6 hours. 3 p.m. coffee still circulates substantially at 8 p.m. Elevated cortisol disrupts restorative sleep, the period governing part of glucose regulation. Poor sleep means dysregulated glucose. Vicious pattern. Upon clarifying everything to Mr. Arnaldo and reorganizing his coffee practice, transformation emerged. Within 8 weeks, fasting glucose decreased from 138 to 112. HbA1c dropped from 7.1 to 6.6. Medication remained unchanged. No extreme dietary shifts, no gym membership, merely coffee timing adjustment. I'll now detail proper coffee consumption for maximizing demonstrated scientific advantages. Initially, something important. Share this content and subscribe if you haven't. Additional videos following this can substantially improve your health. Comment indicating your viewing location. I'm interested understanding which regions my material reaches. Returning to coffee consumption timing. Initial optimal moment. Breakfast, not immediately upon waking. Upon awakening, consume water. Wait 30 to 60 minutes. Consume protein-containing food. Scrambled eggs, cheese, plain unsweetened yogurt, any protein source. Afterward, consume plain coffee without sugar or sweetener. Why protein initially? Protein buffers caffeine's cortisol effects. It offers amino acids that the liver processes more efficiently, preventing unnecessary glucose release. Clinical endocrinology research demonstrated that pre-carbohydrate and pre-caffeine protein consumption reduces post-meal glucose spikes. For enhancement, incorporate half-teaspoon cinnamon powder in your coffee. Cinnamon contains components partially mimicking insulin action, improving glucose absorption. Nutrients Review determined consistent cinnamon use can modestly decrease morning glucose measures. Not medicinal, yet beneficial. Second moment, pre-lunch coffee, lesser known advantage. 20 to 30 minutes preceding your primary meal, consume plain black coffee without sweetener. Chlorogenic acid functions as described, controlling sugar absorption from upcoming food. This decreases post-meal glucose elevation, primary type 2 diabetes contributor. Harvard-affiliated Brigham and Women's Hospital research, published in Diabetes Care, documented coffee elements substantially lowering glucose and insulin readings within initial 15 minutes following carbohydrate consumption versus placebo. Genuine, measurable outcomes available without expense. Third moment, post-exercise. Do you engage in walking or activity? Pay attention. Within 30 minutes completing physical work, consume plain coffee. Active or recently worked muscles become glucose receptive, functioning like absorptive materials, drawing blood sugar for fuel. Caffeine strengthens this, enhancing muscular glucose absorption effectiveness. That's a metabolic opening most overlook. Regarding total daily consumption, WHO, alongside most medical authorities, consider 4 to 5 modest daily cups within sound patterns safe for general populations. The Swedish investigation of 30 studies identified this amount within protective ranges. Individual variation exists. Should you encounter heart palpitations, worry, trembling, or sleep disruption, caffeine metabolism possibly operates slowly, genetically determined. Lower to 2 cups or select quality decaffeinated alternatives retaining chlorogenic acid and similar advantages. Here's another account. Danielle, age 68, previously instructing, presented with 3-year type 2 diabetes diagnosis, consuming metformin with persistent control difficulties. She constituted that conscientious patient, medication compliance, carbohydrate reduction, yet HbA1c obstinately remained beyond 7.5%. Her routine discussion uncovered she drank sweetened milk, coffee mornings, afternoon biscuit coffee combinations, and movement had essentially ceased from leg heaviness. Together, we implemented uncomplicated modifications. Following 45-minute post-awakening intervals, consume boiled egg, then drink plain cinnamon coffee, pre-lunch timing, modest cup 20 minutes before meals. Afternoon, 25-minute walks thrice weekly with post-exercise coffee. Eliminated sweetened afternoon coffee and accompanying cookies. 6 weeks later, return clinic visit brought a smile I'll perpetually remember. HbA1c descended from 7.5 to 6.8%. Morning glucose, 109. She shared, "Doctor, I awakened with vitality I'd forgotten for years." Medication remained unchanged. Coffee relationship transformed. However, significant caution requires stating coffee contains invisible adversaries, eliminating previously described advantages. Primary opponent, sugar varieties. Refined, brown, cane, honey. Anything sweet in coffee generates immediate glucose, spike-negating chlorogenic acid protection. 2025, Harvard findings clarified this conclusively. Sweetened coffee demonstrates reduced diabetes defense. Second opponent, artificial sweeteners. As mentioned, accumulating proof suggests aspartame and sucralose disturb intestinal bacteria necessary for metabolism. Consider natural stevia if sweetening is necessary. Current investigation hasn't revealed equivalent negative effects. Third opponent, industrialized instant coffee packets. These frequently contain concealed sweeteners, modified fats, and additives reducing quality. Select natural ground selections, 100% Arabica, freshly prepared. Fourth opponent, coffee combined with hyper-processed selections. White bread, filled pastries, commercial desserts. Refined carbohydrate glucose elevation proves too extreme for chlorogenic acid compensation. Ultimately, I describe the defense trio because coffee functions optimally within health-supporting context. Initial component, mindful coffee, timing, sugar-free, maximizing chlorogenic acid. Second component, movement, gymnasium membership unnecessary. 30 moderate-paced walking minutes, 3 to 5 weekly instances dramatically enhances insulin reception. Functioning muscles pull glucose regardless of insulin. Countless investigations confirm this. Third component, adequate meal protein. Protein demonstrates lowest glucose effect, supplies fullness, shields muscle mass, the primary glucose consumer. Beyond 60, protein requirements increase as efficiency diminishes. Include egg, poultry, seafood, legumes, cheese, plain yogurt sources at main meals. Combined operation multiplies benefits. Coffee enhances insulin responsiveness. Physical work increases muscular glucose absorption. Protein stabilizes post-meal elevation. Effective, economical, requiring nothing specialized. Honest acknowledgement. Everything described represents supplementary existence modifications supported through scientific investigation. Substantial benefit possible, though not replacing professional medical evaluation. Current diabetes medication users should never independently modify or discontinue. Ideally, discuss this information with your physician, collaborating on professional guided modifications. Inquiry. Do you know family, parent, sibling, intimate friend struggling with elevated glucose or diagnosed diabetes? Share this material now. You might provide information altering their trajectory. Science-grounded quality information represents tremendous caring offering. Concluding reflection I've maintained throughout medical practice years, your physiology isn't adversarial. Your system perpetually attempts equilibrium, restoration, adaptation, elevated glucose, lingering fatigue, swelling. These are communications, bodily requests. Frequently, not pharmaceutical intervention is required, sometimes merely adjusting coffee consumption timing. Wellness exists within routine selection, not pharmaceutical storage. Upcoming material discusses 5 substances that pre-diabetes individuals should eliminate immediately because these silently intensify glucose levels without general knowledge. Activate notifications, preventing content missing. I've enjoyed this connection. Prioritize your well-being and those you cherish. Quotidian selections determine health direction. Commence currently with minimal modification, and tomorrow you demonstrates gratitude. Reconnecting shortly.